This is a cheap car, but that doesn't mean what it used to mean. See, there was a time when buying a cheap car meant you could expect all the technology of a shoehorn and the structural integrity of an Easter egg should you have the misfortune of being in an accident, but the new Kia Picanto isn't either of those things. For one, it's pretty easy on the eye. Plus it's filled with some clever safety stuff like reversing camera, parking sensors and torque vectoring. And it'll even mirror your smartphone so you can display your navigation directions up on the touchscreen in the cabin. So it's cheap, but it's not really cheap at all.
This third generation Picanto follows hot on the heels of the Series 2 model, which landed in Australia just last year as a kind of science experiment, with Kia wanting to prove the business case for the pint-sized Picanto before it invested in localising this new model. If you hate choices, the new Picanto could be just the car for you, with just a single trim level on offer and the only real choice being between a 5-speed manual or a 4-speed automatic transmission. It's as long and as wide as the outgoing car, but it's marginally higher and sits on a slightly longer wheelbase, and some clever packaging ensures there's more room inside and in the boot too.
Okay, so there's no escaping the fact that it is a price point offering. These seats are cloth, the wheels are hubcap covered, and these plastics are rock hard. However, there have been some pretty key updates in here, namely the 7-inch touchscreen that's now Apple CarPlay and Android Auto equipped for the first time. And that means, provided you have a mobile phone and it's in range, you have access to as standard navigation in a bargain basement car. It's bigger in the front seat, though it has gotten smaller in the sparse back seat. Impressively though, the boot space has exploded. If you drop that 60/40 rear seat now, you get over 1,000 litres of luggage space. That's pretty big for a car this size.
Because the last car was really only a case study, Kia never bothered to subject it to the local suspension and steering tuning process it puts the rest of its cars through. But this new Picanto has undergone the full treatment, and the results are pretty good. If it's not the most dynamic feeling car in its segment, it's got to be damn close.
But those changes are let down a little bit by the largely unchanged engine gearbox combination of a tiny little petrol engine partnered with the same 4-speed automatic gearbox as the outgoing car, and it can be fidgety and loud, especially when you really plant your foot, which is something you'll be doing a lot of, especially if you're going uphill. Things are so much better in the 5-speed manual version where you can really wring every ounce of power out of the engine. But Kia tells us the market for self-shifting in this car is going to be minuscule. However, if it was us, we would be opting for the cheaper manual version every day of the week. Gearbox aside though, I've got a real soft spot for cars like this, and this perky little Picanto is actually a lot of fun in the city, and surprisingly, it can also hold its own on a twisty road, just so long as you're going downhill. And so the Kia Picanto is less cheap but more cheerful, adding the kind of safety and technology features its customers demand, and that will do nothing to dent its appeal with its youthful target market. To read the full review, click here, and don't forget to subscribe to stay on top of all our latest videos.